My next job is to make a skeleton for the flour sack, and I will start that in my 4-panel views. I think I will start in my side view by making a spine. I'll go to Skeleton, Create Joints, and my first joint is probably going to be my root joint. Generally, anytime I'm talking about a humanoid biped, which the flour sack is, I want the root joint to be in the heaviest part of the model, which, as a rule, is in the human hips. So that'll be right around here. Then I want the rest of my spine joints to follow along the curvature of the model, so the next one would go here, and then probably one here, and then maybe I'd even put one in here, and we need a joint to finish out the chain, so that will go there. I will press Enter, take these joints and rename them. This one will be the root joint. This is going to be my spine low joint, 0, 1. This will be my spine mid joint, 0, 2. This will be my spine high joint, 0, 3. And this last one is going to be my spine end. And I'm not even going to put a joint suffix because that should not be bound to the skin. My spelling is a little bit off today. Now I'll go through and adjust my joint radii. I want this one to be really tiny, so maybe I will do 0.05. That's pretty darn small. Then I'll do a 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, and we'll leave the root joint nice and big. Next, I'm going to come over to my front view, and I'm going to do the left arm and then the left leg. So again, skeleton, create joints. For the arm, I'm going to put in a clavicle, which will help with the shoulder roll. Then I'm going to do a shoulder, an elbow, and a wrist. As always, anytime I end a joint chain, I want to start by renaming the joints. So this is going to be my left clav joint, left shoulder joint, left elbow joint, and this one will be the left wrist joint. Because we're going to be doing inverse kinematics, that will be an important joint, and I will name it as such. Now I get to go through and change all of their sizes. And I'm going to connect these so that the clavicle points down towards the middle of the back. So I'm going to use my spine mid joint. And now the arm chain is all connected. Next I will do the leg. So back into my create joints. I'm going to start, this is going to look a little bit weird, but the flour sack is basically like a person crouching down. So I'm going to start with a hip, and I'll put that maybe down here, and then I'll pull the knee up like this, ankle, the ball of the foot, and the toe. I know they look really funny, but just so you remember, this is going to be my hip. We'll call that hip joint. Here's the knee. We'll call that knee joint. This is going to be the ankle joint. This will be the ball of the foot joint. And this will be the toe joint. And again, it will get a JT because we are using IK. So again, I will go through and make these all nice and small so that they do not interfere with anything I am looking at. Next, I'm going to connect this hip joint here directly to the root joint. I'm also going to use modify, prefix hierarchy name, we'll give this an LF underscore, and now it's the left side. Before I mirror, I'm just going to check and make sure that everything is sitting properly inside of my model. So depending on what I want, I may wind up moving some of these joints around. That looks like the ankle, and I might pull that a little bit further forward. I'll use the D key so that I can move just that one joint, and now it looks like it's sitting a little bit better inside that leg. I'll check the arm the same way. I think this needs to move back a little bit. Maybe this too. The more centered your joints are within the geometry, the more accurate the transformations you're going to get out of them. So it does pay to spend some time lining these suckers up. To ensure that the clavicle is a really good shoulder shrug, I may also move it back a little bit so that it is just the teeniest bit off center, and I think that that's going to give me a nicer shoulder. Okay, so now my final steps are to take my left clavicle joint and in the skeleton menu, run my mirror joint command. Those are my mirror joint settings. I will take the left hip and do the same thing, and now I have got a full skeleton. Everything comes in named, all of my joints look good. So just to practice, I am going to take all of my joints that have the JT underscore in them, and you can select this manually the way that I'm doing here. If you don't like doing this, up here there is a search and replace name feature. It probably looks like that right now, but if you pull that out and change it over to select by name, I can put in asterisk JT asterisk, and that will select all of the joints that I've given that JT to. I will control select my flower sac, and then in skin, bind skin, I am going to bind to selected joints, and I'm going to do just a basic distance bind here. I will say apply, and now when I wiggle my joints around, I should see that little arm move, or this little foot move. So that's good enough for me. That was making my joint chain and binding my skin.